Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be providing an update on Ayurcann Holdings. This is a company we've talked about extensively on the channel. They're involved in the Canadian cannabis space, specifically post-harvest or post-cultivation solutions, and they just came out with huge earnings, which we're going to dissect in today's update. Now before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a huge help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you're currently holding shares of Ayurcann, what you thought about their earnings, and how you think they stack up to some of the other Canadian players in this space. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video is focused on Ayurcann Holdings Corporation, specifically talking about their impressive Q2 numbers that just came out today. Super excited to get into this one. Before we do, I wanted to take a quick look at the chart here. As you can see, up 3% on Friday's close. So this is as of close on February 18th. To close Ayurcann out at 17 cents Canadian. Now, if you recall in our last video, we compared Ayurcann to some of their peers in this space here in Canada, and they are trading at a significant discount when you start to look at the enterprise value, market cap, and revenue numbers this company is starting to put up. So we're going to talk about that again later in today's presentation, but the main focus of today's video is to talk about the Q2 numbers which just came out this morning. And I will point out, Ayurcann was actually trading close to 24 cents a share back in the middle of summer here, so August 19th of 2021. It's pulled back slightly over the last couple of months, very similar to what we've seen with a lot of the small caps, specifically in the Canadian cannabis space. And you're now able to pick up shares for approximately a 30% discount to where you could have back in summer. So I definitely think this is an attractive entry point. And as you can see, there's pretty strong support for Ayurcann right in this 16 to 17 cent range, which we've really seen the company hover around since the start of December. Now, for those of you who haven't caught our previous updates on Ayurcann Holdings, I would definitely recommend you go in and take a watch. We're going to jump over to the company website here. You can see they trade on the CSE under the ticker symbol AYUR. If I go into the About Us tab, I wanted to give a quick high-level summary of what this company is about. As mentioned, they're a leading post-harvest solution provider with a focus on providing and creating custom processes and pharma-grade products for the adult use and medical cannabis industry here in Canada. So they're really focused on post-cultivation solutions. We talked about the value chain or the value adds this company provides in our last video. We're going to look at some of their services and offering on the next slide here, you guys. But this is the space I'm most excited about, both in Canada and the United States. I've talked about this a lot in my prior videos, but I think the harvest cultivation segment of this market is getting very saturated, very competitive. We're starting to see margins come down. And I think extraction plays that are involved in the production, processing, and manufacturing of 2.0 and 3.0 derivatives is really where you want to invest your money. Ayurcann offers end-to-end full outsourcing solutions, including extraction, refinement, formulation, packaging, fulfillment, and distribution. So this is really where the money is, as we're going to see in their Q2 numbers in a couple of slides here. We have the experience, expertise, and network to assist our partners in Canada and internationally. And below you can see the timeline of this company's history or their major developments over the last couple of years. And later in the presentation, we're actually going to look at some of the milestones they were able to achieve in 2021 because it truly is really impressive. So if we now jump over to the services tab, I wanted to just quickly pause here and show some of the different ways this company generates revenue before we actually get into the numbers. So you can see extraction and refinement, full services here, including bulk extraction, winterization, and fractional distillation. Bulk oil sales, so providing a gold standard quality of bulk oil for manufacturers and brands. And then finally is their white label manufacturing, so product development to commercialization, the knowledge, the experience to successfully bring other brands and other companies to market. And we're actually going to look at some of these brands towards the end of today's video. So now on to the main event. So Q2 earnings, Ayurcann Holdings Corp reports record sales and fourth consecutive quarter of positive operating income. Again, this just came out February 22nd, and this is the main focal point of today's presentation, you guys. So as you can see here, Ayurcann Holdings is pleased to report its financial and operating results for the second quarter, which ended December 31st of 2021. Highlights from the quarter include record revenue of $3.2 million for the 3-month period ending December 31st compared to $1.5 million for Q2 of last year. So that represents a 106% year over year increase. So triple digit increase year over year. And even more exciting to me is this is actually a 71% increase compared to Q1 of this year, which means revenues for the first half of this year came in at $5.1 million, which again is triple digit growth, 115% growth over the first half of last year. So you can really start to see aggressive revenue expansion and top line growth within Ayurcann Holdings. Now the second bullet point here, Ayurcann reported gross margins of $1.8 million for the quarter compared to $302,000 for the same quarter of last year, which represents an approximate growth of 500% year over year. And if you actually do the math on that, that's gross margins in excess of 56%, which is phenomenal for this industry. That's exactly why I like companies focused on post-cultivation or post-harvest. You're not going to see those type of margins in those areas of the value chain. And if we look at the first half of this year combined, gross margins were $2.7 million compared to $408,000 in the first half of last year. So that's a 569% year over year increase, which truly is phenomenal, and a huge congrats to the leadership team at Ayurcann. Now moving along in terms of production updates here, they've now finished their phase 2 expansion at their Pickering facility. They've started production, and this actually increases their total extraction capacity up to 300,000 kilograms of biomass annually. So again, we're going to look at a comparison chart of Ayurcann and some of their peers towards the end of the video, but keep that number in mind, 300,000 kilograms, and the ability to now fill and co-pack 3 million units of Cannabis 2.0 and 3.0 products. So this is going to provide licensed producers or LPs here in Canada with a one-stop extraction facility and offering international brands a go-to-market strategy. Now, in addition to all of that, Ayurcann was actually nominated and won 2 leading awards here in Canada for Best Extraction and Best Toll Processing Facility. So we're going to double click on that one in a second. But before we do, I did want to point out that Ayurcann now maintains one of the largest inventories of both THC and CBD crude oil, THC and CBD distillate, and pharma-grade CBD isolate for use in Cannabis 2.0, 3.0 derivative products, which is available and ready to go for its co-manufacturing and brand partnership. So it's got a ton of stock on the shelves, which is very attractive to companies looking to partner and actually reduces the production time dramatically. Now, on top of all of that, in terms of distribution, Ayurcann has continued to expand their recreational reach throughout Canada. We talked about this in our last video. They now have over 150 SKUs available in the 2.0 and 3.0 derivative product categories, with their Fuego branded vapes, Vita branded tinctures, and Glow branded topicals having been shipped to Ontario, New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta. So a great reach across Canada here. And again, more details about that expanding distribution in our previous or prior video. And last but not least, Ayurcann is continuing to push their partnership brands such as Innocan Pharma, Her Highness, Joints, Hustle and Shake, Bravo 6, and Lucky Dragon. We're going to look at some of these brand partnerships in a second here, you guys. But overall, phenomenal Q2 for Ayurcann Holdings, and super excited for this company moving into the back half of this year. Now, the CEO, Egil Sudman, comes on and says, "This quarter we have shown and proven again that Ayurcann is able to maintain a profitable business and expand its market share. Again, this is the 4th consecutive quarter of positive operating income. Ayurcann works diligently to serve its clients and continue to grow its revenues while keeping an eye on its bottom line. We are thrilled to see our revenues grow at a steady pace while maintaining strong margins, which we just talked about, in excess of 50%, and being responsible to our shareholders. We can confidently say that we fully expect to show continued growth and build on our momentum." So as an investor in this company, this is exactly what you want to hear from the management team. So as promised, this is the article that came out December 2nd, talking about Ayurcann winning those multiple awards in Canada for Extraction Facility and Toll Processing Facility of the Year. So I wanted to double click on this, you guys, because not only are they scaling their production capacity, their extraction capacity, and their revenue, but they're actually one of the most sought after businesses here in Canada for doing it properly. And they now have the awards and recognition to really back that up. So I'm not going to go through the article in a lot of detail, but I would highly recommend you take a look here. Really shows the point that this company is not just going after quantity, but also quality. Now there's a couple other slides I wanted to cover in today's presentation just as a quick reminder for some of you who maybe aren't as familiar with this company. So if we jump over to the investor presentation, here's a quick look at the various different brand partnerships that Ayurcann Holdings currently possesses, but they really are building quite an impressive lineup of partnerships and third-party relationships in the industry. So Her Highness NYC, Explore, Vita, Inocan Pharma, Basilette, Nookie, Fuego, Joints, Hustle and Shake, Green Bee Botanicals, and Glow. So a total of 11 partnerships currently in the works here, you guys. And I think this really is starting to get a lot of investor attention and really get the Ayurcann name and brand out there to the general public. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on is just some of the milestones this company was able to hit in 2021. Again, with these small cap penny stock type of companies, you really are investing in the leadership team or the team in general. As you can see on the right here, this is the Ayurcann team and Egil Sudman in the bottom left. Now the milestones achieved in 2021 again are very impressive in my mind, considering this company only commenced trading on the CSE April 8th. You can see they then announced an oversubscribed private placement in the middle of April, entered into agreements with CanMart and Patient's Choice towards the end of April, formed their new advisory board, signed partnership agreements with Kindred Partners to enter the Canadian recreational market. So that was a major milestone in the middle of May. They signed their partnership with Joints Cannabis on May 27th. The joint venture with one of the largest medical companies in Israel on June 8th. They picked up their partnership with California-based Green Bee Botanicals for July 15th, announced their application to list on the OTC exchange in the US July 21st, signed on for manufacturing and distribution with Inocan Pharma on August 11th, listed on the Frankfurt Exchange August 19th, signed their manufacturing and distribution agreement with Her Highness on August 24th, expanded their medical cannabis footprint and strategy with the Herb Clinic on October 25th, completed their phase 2 build-out or facility build-out on October 29th, received their first PO or purchase order from Saskatchewan October 9th, and their first purchase order from Ontario on that same date. So a very busy year for the team, to say the least. And to me, this really goes to show the company and the team have a proven track record of delivering shareholder value, achieving their goals, coming through on their commitments, and I expect this to continue through 2022. And that brings us to this slide here. So we pulled this up in our last video as well, but really does paint a great picture of the competitive landscape. Now we've talked about a number of these companies on the channel. So Labs, Neptune, the Valens company, but the big change since our last presentation is really this number here. So you can now see the current annual extraction capacity has increased from 200,000 kilograms to 300,000 kilograms, so a 50% increase based on that facility phase 2 completion we just talked about. And again, when you start to look at the production capacity or the extraction capacity of Ayurcann compared to their enterprise value or market cap in relation to some of these peers, the investment opportunity and the bullish thesis here becomes very evident, you guys. They're extremely undervalued. They're trading at a major discount and they're continuing to deliver on their commitments to shareholders. So for those reasons, I definitely think this one belongs on your watch list. Again, phenomenal Q2 numbers. Super excited to see the revenue growth, the gross margins, and the operating income continue to come in quarter after quarter. And this is a company I would definitely have an eye on moving into 2022. Now, with that being said, let me know in the comment section below if you're currently holding shares of Ayurcann, what you thought about their earnings today, and how you think they stack up to some of the other competition in this space. I personally respond to each and every comment, so this is a great way to get in touch with me. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not currently subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.